So when I'm soloing, I again think of the notes within a chord. A good example is like a A blues. So you got your A chord, D7, E7. You can make it really simple. Like an A chord is going to have an A note in it. That note works. It just so happens the D chord also has an A note in it. So when we go to D, you can stay on the same note. That works. There's other notes we're going to hit. But, you know, A, D, when it goes to E, there's no A note in the E chord. So that A note, how do we even play one? It's like a fourth. It just doesn't really blend with the chord very well. It's a suspended fourth unless you go like to a major third of the E. Now we're talking. So check it out. Let's say we hit an A note for an A chord, A note for a D chord, but flat that to the G sharp or A flat. That's part of the E7 chord. And back to A. Super easy. So A, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, A. That's all you got to do to maybe find a note that fits the chord. Of course, we've got to make it a little more cool, like 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3. There's the D chord, and back to our A chord, 2 and 3, and 2 and 3. There's our E chord, the A flat note. Back to A. Here's an E. Cool. So you can do that in, you know, different places on the guitar. A. Then you can do something really obvious like hit a D note. 2 and 3. There's the A and 2. And 2 and 3. There's my D note. It's too easy. So really, just being aware of the notes of the chord, which are going to be found in shapes, you know, within this A shape. You got your A, E, A, C sharp, E, and A. The chord tones. And if we make it A7, we add some G notes in there. So those were all just A's, C sharps, E's, and G's. And I know that pattern pretty well. When we go to D, you know, a D major, 3 notes, D, A, D, F sharp, and A. But if we make it a D7, you're going to add C to that. So you could play. The notes of a D7 are D, F sharp, A, and C. When we get around to our E chord, you can just make a shape. You'll find them, root third, fifth, or. But here, let's go E, G sharp, D, E. Then, you plug in your stock licks, like that's a good old chromatic B, B flat, A, G, E. So, doing those chord tones, you could play a solo, So maybe you could hear me changing the chords with my notes. So you just, so backing up, chord shapes, arpeggios, the caged system. You can work out of a book called Chord Tone Soloing by Barrett Tagliarino. It's a Hal Leonard book, or is it? Musicians Institute. Yeah, we should be talking about that book more. That will reinforce everything I'm saying, only with more, it might be a little more clear, but it might take you longer too. But whatever it takes, man, just as long as you're working on this, please think about what notes you're gonna play when you do a solo. That's really a cool, fun thing to do. You'll hear a big difference in your playing. Thanks for the great questions.